The Boys is one of those shows that has had a lot of love, mostly for its first 3 seasons because of their writing, funny jokes, direction, cinematography, and acting. However, the past couple years since Gen V aired and The Boys Season 4, people including me started to notice a fall in the show, that it wasn't the same as it used to be, and here we are now with Gen V Season 2, which I didn't watch because I heard it was terrible, and The Boys Season 5, which, as you read that title, it wasn't good. I mean, what can I say? This season was genuinely just there to hype up Vought Rising because characters such as Bombsight, Stormfront, and Soldier Boy are all mentioned this season, and they barely even have a role besides Soldier Boy giving Homelander the V1 and then just fucking ends up back in a freestyle. Bombsight there for like one scene just to get rid of his powers in the V1 storyline, and also the mention of Clara, which pretty much retcons Soldier Boy. I think one of the issues with The Boys in general though is that the whole point of the show is to mock the superhero genre like Marvel and DC pretty much, with how they put out a lot of shit movies and shit TV shows, and it tries to encapsulate how bad they are pretty much by showing it in Vought when they promote their TV shows and movies. But the fact is, what makes it kind of worse is the fact that The Boys has literally become that. It's become that where they're releasing random spin-offs and stuff to milk the whole series and stuff, like Vought Rising and Gen V, and I think there's even more stuff that's going to come out soon. It doesn't fit well because the whole point of The Boys is to mock the superhero genre, but the fact is it's becoming that now, so it's like, that's kind of what's caused a fall in the show to add on with that as well. To start from the beginning, this season in my opinion actually starts off pretty decently strong. While I did have some problems, which was A-Train in the first episode refusing to help the boys, when the ending of Gen V Season 2, even though I didn't watch it, he was willing to help out. I guess Eric's stupid key really just lied to us, saying that Gen V events will tie in with The Boys Season 5 very seriously. But not really, since they just literally forget everything, and the Gen V cast also is barely in the season, only for like 3 scenes. Add to the fact that Marie has also got the most unique power, and I've heard she's actually become really powerful by the end of Gen V, yet she's just sidelined and barely given a role to help defeat Homelander. Like, it's so confusing to what they were going for. Back to the first episode, we also hear Kimiko talking, and tell me why it's so goddamn annoying. Like, why did they decide to go for a TikTok Gen Z type voice? After what happened in season 4 finale, they built up to Kimiko talking very well, which when she finally spoke, and it made it seem like she was going to be a lot more serious rather than whatever the fuck they were doing with her this season. She kind of also just became a plot device near the end of the season to take down Homelander. Along with this episode, we also see our first character death, and I'm going to be honest, the one thing I'm happy about this season is they actually kill characters off. But I'm going to be honest, when I say that, I think the creator thought that killing characters off is good writing, when that's not the case. It's the way the characters are concluding, not just ending them without any build-up and shallow depth whatsoever. A-Train's death is like my favourite death in the season because the final talk is actually good, and I do have one issue, which is like, why did A-Train not just move out of the way easily from that Robin lookalike? Because he wasn't overdosed on Compound V, so I don't really understand. But I'll let that slide since this is his final talk with Homelander, and it's actually a pretty good scene to how he showed how he was no longer afraid of him, and mentally he was a lot stronger than Homelander. Speaking of Homelander, I actually have a lot of complaints towards him this season. First of all, they've made him too stupid. I'm going to be really honest when I say, becoming more mentally insane and unstable doesn't make you a dumbass. Yes, you do become more reckless, but it's not to the point where they make you become a complete idiot half the time. My issue with this is mainly because there's a literal virus that the boys crew can make, and it's just so random that Homelander is acting dumb and less smart compared to how he was in season 1 and 2. It's like, what? I'll let season 3 slide because Soldier Boy was his dad, so obviously he was going to be more hesitant and afraid, but season 4 and 5, they just make him progressively dumber each episode. And not to mention season 5, they not only dumb him down, but they give him so many weaknesses for whatever reason, to make V1 look like something Homelander needs and must have, because for some reason he gets his ass knocked out by some random guy's breath, and it's so disappointing and like out of nowhere. Another thing I hate about this season is character loops. What I mean by that is, for example, we have Butcher in the ending of season 4 looking and acting like he's gonna be more evil now, and while he does show signs of him being more evil and dangerous, it doesn't make fucking sense because one episode later all of a sudden he's not getting villainized because of Huey saving Terra. Then another time he acts evil, then they go back to that cycle, and then it repeats, and then that cycle repeats again. This is mostly an issue with the boys group too, because it's like, it even happens to characters such as MM as well. I'm pretty sure they were doing something in one of the episodes where he acts more like Butcher, and same with Starlight listening to Butcher. Then another episode they don't, but then another episode they do. It's just so fucking confusing. Like, character looping doesn't make the season interesting. Like, it doesn't. And it's just, in fact, it makes the season worse because you're making it look like you don't know what the hell to do with the characters, Eric Kripke. A lot of people have also pointed this out, but another issue is the pacing. Not only the writing sucks, but the pacing is fucking terrible. There's scenes that we spend so long on when it's unneeded, and it's actually annoying. For example, I actually think Frenchie's death is decent, but the fact that the same episode we see people sniffing each other when we could have seen what Homelander did to Frenchie would have been so much better. I know people have said that The Boys had 2 filler episodes, which was episode 4 and 5, and I actually do get what they're saying, and they do slightly progress the story though, whether you like it or not, and a lot of it kind of just feel bare bones. Like, do we really need to see Terra having a wet dream over Homelander when it's the final season? Really? And I get it's The Boys, and The Boys has always been really weird, but come on, this is the final season that has had crazy marketing, like it's the end of the world with the posters. So it's like, why show all of this false marketing when all this season is just another grounded but rushed with horrible writing of The Boys? Another issue I pretty much have with this season too is Huey. For the most part, Huey isn't that bad this season, but with how he was being treated in season 4 and everyone just brushing it off like it was nothing, was complete trash, and I kind of wish that he stood up more this season and was angry because of how no one literally cared about what happened to him in season 4. Instead, all they do is they make him a whiny boy to butcher about not releasing the virus, and while I don't mind that, it's also just messy writing since that's all he really does this season, and it's just handled poorly. Characters such as Sage I could not give a fuck about, Firecracker's death, sure I guess. But the main death that pissed me the fuck off was Black Noir's, man. Are we really forgetting that this guy can fly? Are we really forgetting that this guy is bulletproof? So why the fuck does he get caught off by the Deep? Out of everyone, the Deep? And it's not even in a good way too. He could have literally flew up to stop Deep from strangling him, and regardless of that, he dies to a fucking knife. When this was like the same guy who was bulletproof, it's just so disappointing since he was tanking bullets from a minigun, and it's like, especially because of how he could have been such a more interesting character. Along with this, Firecracker's death isn't that bad, but it's also disappointing because we're finally learning more about the character, and now she fucking dies. Like, why couldn't they have explored this earlier in season 4 or the start of season 5? This season also treats threats to Homelander like a complete fucking joke. Remember that Flight 37 video that the boys had and stopped Homelander from killing Butcher in season 2? Well, the video is released at the start of the season, and what they do is they treat it as a joke, and an AI video that just ruins what season 2 did, man, like completely. And the other seasons, when they mentioned the Flight 37 video, going back to what I was saying about the characters too, man, the Deep really should not have stayed alive this long. Don't get me wrong, he's funny and like Chase does a really good job as playing as a loser, but man, he should have died earlier instead of A-Train because he really had no purpose, and they even proved that with Homelander kicking him out of the 7. I will say that I think the ending he got was decent, how he rejected becoming better because it showed how petty he just was. There is an issue I have with this though, because like, why would Starlight take him to the beach where she should know that he would be most powerful there because of the sea? And keep in mind, she doesn't know about the Deep's ban from the sea, so it's just like, what? The character I was really disappointed with this season though has to be Soulja Boy. Remember how I said earlier they retconned him? Yeah, to add on, again, they did. This whole "it's what Clara would have wanted" is fucking crap. Because what does that scene in season 3 mean where he talked to Crimson Countess about his love he had for her? I guess that just didn't mean anything. It's just so random too, because if you're trying to make Soulja Boy seem like a good person, are we also forgetting Clara is a goddamn Nazi? So like, why are they trying to make it seem like he's a good character for caring about someone when she's not even a good person to begin with? And also keep in mind, they only did this so Homelander could get the V1 and it would be seen as a bonding moment. I honestly would have preferred if Soulja Boy started to understand Homelander's goals, mind, and how he, like, pretty much how he functioned and how literally Homelander would think about situations and stuff, and then they just bonded over that, so he would give the V1 and it like kind of like has some dynamic between them two. But instead it just ends up being cringe because this is all about a goal to, like, literally, it's just literally about a goal, and it's just very cringe the way they deal with it. To add on, they also treat Soulja Boy so dirty by the fact how he just ends up back in the cell and is nowhere to be seen in the finale at all. Like, they completely wasted his character completely, and I was just so disappointed with it. I'm now going to talk about the ending, and I don't think it's as terrible by any means like Stranger Things, AOT, The Flash, or I'm assuming Game of Thrones level. I've never watched Game of Thrones, but I've heard it's terrible, so yeah, I'm assuming The Boys Season 5 is not as bad as that. But it's still not that good though. This episode starts off with Frenchie's death and Huey reading a note, and why the fuck is there already a sex joke? Straight away, like, I'm gonna be honest, man, this is a serious moment and we really gotta hear about a sex joke. Are we serious? Pretty much some of the episode is literally preparing to kill Homelander and the 7 in general. And I've got a lot of complaints for this too. One of the deaths about this being O-Father. For some reason, I haven't talked about this character because he is funny, I won't lie, but he kind of just sucks as well. And they make him have huge plot armor, like Starlight gets beat by O-Father in one of the episodes, and that's complete bullshit because light is always faster than sound. So it's just like, what are we doing, man? To add on, Starlight also got a buff in season 4 as it changed to solar energy. And I don't know why they've also kind of changed her power, so he has to charge her attacks when it's never been like that. And she can almost do it instantly, but I guess not now. I don't know. It's just, I really don't know if it changed it or not. Does Starlight have to charge up her powers now, or is it just like, can she use it like instantly like before? Like, it's so confusing what they've done with her powers, man. But okay, I guess. Anyway, the guy who beat Starlight goes out in one of the most lamest ways possible, which is by blowing himself up. Like, O-Father literally just blows himself up, pretty much. Okay, so the titanium ball somehow killed a person near sound waves, which is faster than light for some reason. What? And how the fuck did MM have the strength to hold it back? It's just so confusing, and even if that explodes O-Father, shouldn't there have been at least some force or sent Huey and MM back a bit? It's just so weird and horribly executed, and it's just like, man, imagine a character that was in season 5, like the final season, and he's just a joke character. They make him powerful for some reason, and then he just dies like that to a titanium ball. Anyway, now we're like on like pretty much the near end of Homelander's conclusion, and it's like the big grand finale, who realistically should be able to solo the boys since he has V1. Nope. See, earlier this guy was moving extremely fast. He traveled to space and back within 2 seconds, yet he decides to fly really slow towards Kimiko so Butcher can grab him. Another thing that sucks about this final fight is why didn't Homelander do what he did before and laser Kimiko's legs? I mean, it worked in the first episode, at least try it again. Even though she has that Soldier Boy blaster, it doesn't mean that she's more durable, as I don't think it was stated properly, so just try and do what you did before. Even when flying away, Homelander kind of just moves so slowly. Like, are we forgetting what he did 10 minutes ago? Or back in episode 1 with him keeping up with A-Train. Vine then comes in and they start doing some Jujutsu Kaisen type team up, somehow overpowering Homelander to the point Kimiko has a cringy ass moment with Frenchie and then blasts Homelander. And now he's defeated. Man, what a fraud. If I'm being honest, this finale is so underwhelming. I wish that Homelander actually did something with V1, like actually destroy some of the world, like the marketing said, and cause more destruction to have a proper build up to the finale. Because if I'm honest, I actually don't mind Homelander's conclusion. I actually like how he begs Butcher not to kill him and to show how he's a kid inside. But it's just the fact he goes out like that with doing nothing with V1. Like, when he got the V1, he just did completely nothing. That annoys me. Another issue I have with this finale is what caused Butcher to kill every suit. Pretty much Ryan says that he's done with Butcher and Homelander and he wants a fresh start. Also gotta add that Ryan is completely wasted this season. He's actually an interesting character too, but he has like 0 screen time besides this episode and the 3rd episode. But back to what I was saying, pretty much Ryan leaves him, so now he's all done and he's all alone with his dog, Terra. But then he finds out Terra's died, so he pretty much is fully all alone. And from this, he wanted to kill every soup. I'm not joking, that's literally the reason. I understand what they're trying to say, that he has no one left and is all alone, but he had Huey. He even said in the ending that Huey reminds him of Lenny, and Huey has constantly stayed by his back, so it's just so confusing. I would have honestly preferred if the reason he wanted to kill all Supes was because Homelander caused a massacre, and it shows how dangerous Supes can be, so eliminating all of them would be the best choice. But no, I can't understand Butcher because he just did all of this over a dead dog, and it's just lame. It hurts more because I genuinely like that final couple scenes between Huey and Butcher, but the way it's executed, it's so poorly. Matter of fact, this finale in general was not even terrible, but it could have just been great if the whole season was actually thought out well, because they had good ideas for the finale. But the execution, man, it was rough. I will say, I do like every conclusion the characters got, like Huey and Stardust's conclusion. I was happy with, same with Ryan and MM's and Kimiko's, but it sure does not save this mess of a season. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give The Boys Season 5 a 4 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.